Welcome to Coach's Weekly. I'm CJ Sellner, here with head baseball coach Mike Stosky. Coach, you guys are preseason ranked number 10 by perfect game in the top 25. It's just another year, and it's a lot of excitement here for the Concordia Cougar baseball team. To get everything kicked off, you guys had a special banquet. Before we even get to talking about the rest of the team, talk about the special night.
Yeah, Saturday night we got a chance to kind of celebrate our success from last year. We got to honor, the award winners, from all conference winners to all region winners. Obviously, Joe Silva and Eric Palmer coming back to receive their Player of the Year awards in the conference. And then we have our special team awards where Joe Silva won the Player of the Year, the Jack Walker Award. Eric Palmer was named the Pitcher of the Year by his teammates. And then maybe the most honorable distinguished award, the Walt Miller Award, was won by Andrew Kroenke, which I'm not sure there was a more deserving person. So it was really nice. We had 200 people there, guys dressed up in shirt and tie for the first time in probably since the last banquet. And it was just good to get everyone together one more night, the families, the players, the coaches, before, the season kicks off.
You guys kick it off down in Texas this week for the second straight year, 2 with Southwestern University and 2 with Concordia, Texas. And the way that I've seen this kind of preseason shape up, you guys have been able to get outside, you guys scrimmaged yesterday. How do you feel how the team's kind of developed over the course of the preseason?
So it's been a weird preseason because we've had so many returners. We have 8 guys returning in our lineup. We only lost 2 positional players that were seniors. We lost 4 pitchers that were seniors, but 1 was a starter. So we've brought everyone back just about. So when we're going through our normal routines during practice, the explanations are minor now. We're not trying to have to explain a bunt coverage or a first and third play. We just run it a few times and it's done. So, we've been able to really focus on development, and I made a challenge to the guys yesterday at practice saying, if you guys know of something that we can do more, you let me know, because the coaches can't figure it out. Because we feel like we've covered every base. We've hit a ton. We've thrown the ball great. Defensively, we've been on the turf a ton. And like I said, it was February 19th, and we were outside. We played a 7-inning game on our own field. It's just been a weird preseason, but I can honestly say we can't prepare the guys any more than they are. So it's going to be a nice, light week of baseball. Just get some kinks out, get some nerves out. And right now, honestly, the coach's goal is to just try to tame the excitement of Friday.
Now, before we get to Friday, let's preview a little bit. We'll start on the pitching side of things. Cody Caballero back is a huge headline. He was a pitcher of the year before he had to sit out a year because of an injury. He headlines a staff that I think has developed and come a long way just a year removed from being in the regionals again.
Yeah, so Cody will start game 1 for us, and obviously well-deserved, and he's been there. Our staff is really deep now. So we've made some changes with the rotation. We've added a transfer in the rotation, and we might actually add a freshman in the rotation, which is going to push some of these older guys into the bullpen to give Moose a little bit more help. So, we're kind of using the method that our offense is going to be pretty good, and if we can win innings 7, 8, and 9 consistently, it's going to be tough to beat us. So we've moved some really good power arms into the bullpen, and you kind of combine that with our starting group. I like where our pitching staff is. I wasn't sure we were going to be this far along when January started, but we're far along than I couldn't even imagine. So we're going to use those guys to kind of hold us up early on.
And I feel like a lot of the guys that have gotten moved around and everything that I've seen around the team, they've really bought into the moves and the different things that you guys have done, seen as it's a chance for them to pitch a little bit more, that it's going to really help this team and really just solidify the bullpen, and really just, you can shorten games on people very easily.
Absolutely. It was a longer conversation with Alex Myers moving out of the rotation into the bullpen, because this will be his first year really doing that. He's been a starter. Mike Formella, it didn't take long because he's been playing that role for 2 years. He's been a spot starter / bullpen guy for us. And heck, last year out of the bullpen, he had the most wins. He had 8 wins. So Mike understands the importance of it and understands the idea of maybe pitching 2 or 3 times in a weekend. And I think Alex is starting to realize that. But you hit it on the head. I came to them both and said, "Hey, we're going to pull you out of the rotation. We're going to put you in the bullpen and solidify our last 3 or 4 innings." They were excited about it. So that just kind of tells you what kind of teammates they are.
Now we'll look towards some of the positional players, starting in the outfield. Brendan Klein, Joe Silva, the Player of the Year. Grant Davis is finally getting healthy. You have a very just competitive outfield with the Keegan Tyrell and everybody that's kind of come along.
Yeah, it's every coach wants to have the problem we have. We have 7 outfielders that probably could play. We have 7 in the outfield, and just in our scrimmage yesterday, I think every single outfielder got a hit. So it's a nice problem to have. Unfortunately, we only can play 9. So it's going to be competitive. You know, guys like Joey and Doug Matthews can do multiple things. They can both come in and play the infield if needed at times. So I think you're going to see a lot of movement in the outfield, and you know, we'll see that thing mix and match depending on matchups.
On the infield, Brent Spohr really solidifies first base. Mitch Wilson is at second base for a second year now to get more comfortable. The infield, you guys led the nation in fielding percentage, so it goes without saying that having that whole group back, there's a lot of high expectations with the infield.
Absolutely. So everyone returns. Every single person returns in the infield, including our catching core. So there's not going to be any changes there. The nice thing is everyone's gotten a little bit better. Jacob Frank is as good of a defensive first baseman as there is, and you're going to see him play late in a lot of games. You know, so hopefully Brent Spohr will get on in the 8th or 9th, and we'll run for him. And then, you know, Frank will be our you know, a better defensive player coming into the late innings. And Massey, backing up Massey's Aaron Wicker, who is a tremendous freshman shortstop, who again gives us a chance to be good defensively. So yeah, when you lead the nation in fielding percentage and then you bring your entire infield back, it's a pretty nice thing to have as a coach and a pitching staff.
And swinging the bat, I mean, there's no losing anything there either. Those guys can swing. You guys batted well over 300 last year as a team. Now I feel like there's going to be a real battle just to who's going to get the DH role, whoever's not in the field every day.
Yeah, the DH role is going to be something, again, that we'll play with matchups. It's not going to be probably a solidified role. It'll be something we move around. The nice thing is our third catcher, Justin Rodriguez, has really come along, and we think he's ready to play. So we actually have the ability to DH a second catcher if that's the case. So if you know, for game one, if Kevin Coppin starts behind the plate, Brady Roberts will DH. Why that's important is if we need to pinch run Kevin or do something, if Kevin, knock on wood, goes down, we have Justin there to take over. Where last year we weren't sure if he was ready. So that's going to be something we flip around a lot. And the nice thing is we bring back our top five. Our top five are written in the lineup. You know, they started every game last year in the top five. That won't change. We're not going to surprise anybody with our lineup this year.
I think the nation has kind of taken that on and really seen some of this. You guys have gotten a lot of respect in all the top 25 polls in Division III. So the expectations are very high, and I think the excitement's very high around Concordia. How have you guys been able to kind of tame that, but yet use that as something like, hey, we're the ones that really are the team here?
Yeah, you know, I try to avoid what other coaches do and say rankings don't matter and we don't pay attention to rankings. I think coaches lie when they say that. They know what the rankings are, especially when you get ranked as high as 10. It gets shoved in your face, and there's nothing you can do but see it. But I always say our guys deserve it. They have played world-class baseball for over a decade now. We've had 30 wins 9 years in a row, and year in and year out, we go to the regional and we compete with the best in the country, and we've always been just the next best team not to make the World Series. So for us to be ranked that high is great. As you know, it doesn't mean anything early, but you know, it's nice that we're going to get everyone's best effort. There's no doubt about it. We can't sneak up on anybody. And how we've tamed it during practice, you know, the nice thing is, like I said, we have a lot of returners that have lived this. You know, we have some guys that lived, you know, 3 years ago when we were number 3 in the country. You know, last year when we were up to number 12, these guys lived through it. So now that we're doing it early, our guys are happy that they're getting the recognition they deserve. And, you know, but I think that more importantly, I think they want to live up to it because they do know the expectations are high. So we've seen a different effort out of our guys this year, and I think it's a little chip they've put on their own shoulder to kind of live up to what everyone hopes that we can do this year.
Now it's finally baseball time, game week, as you guys put on your Twitter account. 4 games over the course of 3 days in Texas. Preview the 4-game weekend, the 2 games with Concordia, Texas, and the 2 games with Southwestern.
So we're going to go down there, and it's going to be a tough 36 innings. Those guys are already playing. Concordia, Texas has a dozen games under the belt already, so they don't have any kinks to work out, no rust. And Southwestern, I know first week they opened up 2-1 against 3 really good teams. So, you know, we're going to be challenged. You know, I keep saying to everyone, you never know what's going to happen in game 1. You know, it's game 1. What can happen? 7 o'clock under the lights, you don't know. But I know that we're ready from a mental standpoint. I know we're ready physically. It's just if we put those 2 things together in a 9-inning game, we'll have a chance. But again, you know, there's not much of a rivalry between us and Concordia, Texas, besides the names. But last year we went there and we did beat them, and they beat us. So I think that they're excited to come down. And like I always say, they look at the number 10 next to our name, you know, on their schedule, and they just get up. They probably get a little more excited to play us, and they know it's going to mean a little more when they beat us. So we're planning on seeing some really good pitching. So we prepared for that. I think we'll see a an arm that we saw last year that kind of shut us down. So we've prepared all week for him. And then from a base running standpoint, we feel like we need to run the bases well to make sure that we kind of solidify ourselves in those games. So you're going to see, well-pitched games. We're going to use our pen as much as we can, and you're going to see us run around a little bit.
We look forward to seeing you guys back out on the field. Cougars head to Texas starting on Friday night against Concordia, Texas. You can find links to the 4-game weekend at cucougars.com. For head coach Mike Stosky, I'm CJ Sellner. Thank you for watching Coaches Weekly.